It's an intro, yeah. Hello, beautiful people. Finzombie here, and I just wanted to give some brief updates on the RoR Realms. I'm back from Iceland, by the way. Unfortunately, this is the first video I will be publishing back from Iceland. Sucks to start off with bad news. But I have some RoR Realms information. The background footage is just me and Demon Dog building something that is part of the series and will become more important this season. But this is don't worry, nothing's happening to the main series. The TLDR is some of this side stuff is getting screwed up, but season 2 episode 5 is in the works and hopes for that are high. And nothing is going to affect that for now. But bad news in regards to some other stuff. Namely, at the beginning of season 2, which was so long ago, I had a little snippet where I said we were doing a Q&A and a prequel after season 2, episode 4, which, if you've been paying attention, came out quite recently. And by quite recently, I mean like a month ago, but I've been gone and busy, okay? Please cut me some slack. However, due to some changes that have happened since the last episode of the prequel, we no longer have that world file, meaning we cannot continue from where we left off. And it was also not really an idea we're into. We have some other maybe possible ideas for a prequel, but those would be like a prequel of the world, not of the current characters we have. That would be the story of the war that wiped out everyone that is not currently here. And we have a lot of cool lore ideas, but the prequel Before the Realms of all the people, that ain't happening. In addition, the Q&A that I mentioned, we're not making a Q&A video just because I don't know, man. We don't have that many fans. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and I will answer them in the comments. But until interest in the series and my channel in general increases, we're not going to be making any actual videos about it. It's just going to be like a little, hey, if you want to have your question answered, I will do them briefly in text format. So yeah, both of those intermediaries are canceled, which, I mean, on the bright side, means that season 2, episode 5 comes out faster. I am right now just gonna tell you basically what was gonna happen in the prequel because it had some kind of important character building stuff. A lot of which could have been picked up through context, but I feel like it's important enough. So essentially, first episode was published. You should go and watch that. Basically, a bunch of people just randomly appear in this world, and it mainly focuses on Josh, who finds a strange end crystal buried in a lake and decides to like start taking care of it, and eventually moves out, which angers his brother. So, second episode, Quint shows up, randomly dropping from the sky like everyone else, and he's supposed to be like the scientist guy. He's a bit of like he's a little anxious. I wouldn't say cowardly, but timid, maybe the right word, but he likes studying stuff and learning things. So Josh enlists him to help like look at the crystal and find out what's going on. In the meantime, Finn and Cameron bond and they become friends. And at this point, remember, Finn's still human. And then American Blocks Boy shows up, and he's kind of weird from the get-go. He's just vaguely creepy, and he moves into an acacia tower in the site of Ithaca. He makes that tower and moves there. And he and Mad Lad kind of befriend each other almost kind of by chance, by accident, and so they both decide to move there. So now the only people staying at like the center tower that we built in the first episode are Cameron and Finn. Josh and Quint are studying the crystal, and Mad Lad and ABB have gone there. And remember, Thin Air, 3M Star, a bunch of other characters aren't there yet. Then there's a whole lot of like fillers that are very, very episodic, where they're important to the plot of each episode, but not to the overall plot of the prequel, until Finn dies and is blown up by a creeper. And at this point, Quint and Josh have been studying the crystal for a while, and they believe it like controls lives somehow, but they're still not sure how to use it. So this is the first chance they have to do this. Everyone's like mourning Finn, but Quint and Josh are like working hard and hardly working. Sorry, I couldn't resist. In the basement to try and fix it, and they do, but with obvious flaws. If you've seen season 2, episode 1, you know what I'm talking about. And it's actually something interesting. A lot of Finn's jerkiness stems from the fact that he is undead. Not only is he jealous of not only is he jealous of like Josh and stuff, he's also jealous of who he used to be, because Finn as a human is like a cool strategist and all around smart and good guy. But once he becomes a zombie, that all goes away because of like pure resentment for the other people that he knows and his past self. So he becomes a zombie, and tensions ratchet up from there. American Blacksboy has discovered the Dark One, who he begins worshipping, and Mad Lad thinks this is kind of weird, but little does he know that the Dark One also has its influence on him. And then this is near the end at this point. Sorry, I'm trying to compile my thoughts. Finn comes up with the idea of like building kingdoms, maybe like splitting up, because this current situation seems a little not good, and that is the origin of the kingdoms. The natural groups split up, but Quint goes to Ithaca because, again, in a lot of those more episodic episodes, Quint hangs with Mad Lad, and Quint is friends with a lot of people. He's friends with Cameron because they're both in the Paladins. He's friends with Josh because they both worked on the crystal and are just bros in general. And he's friends with Mad Lad because they bonded during the prequel. Well, that didn't count for much when Mad Lad betrayed everyone else, but friends. Quint's a very friendly guy. So they split up into kingdoms, and at one point I don't remember how I exactly planned it to go down, but I wanted to explain the plot hole of them only having wood gear at the very beginning of the first episode, because we didn't know what we were doing in the first episode. None of this was planned. But they only had wood stuff in the first episode, and already by the time of the prequel, they have collected a lot more. So at one point, American Blacksboy actually sets like a lava booby trap, and everyone dies in it. So but at this point, Quint and Josh have fully figured out the respawn crystal and are able to hook everyone up to that, unbeknownst to them. So that's actually the first time anyone but Finn dies, and it also explains why they don't have any stuff in the current iteration. Again, this was really like a slapdash. I had to come up with something to explain this plot point in the finale. So the series ends. The prequel ends with Finn Finn calling for an official meeting to introduce the kingdoms, which is the opening scene of Realm Realms episode 1, which is kind of sort of non-canon. He addresses the audience directly, which doesn't happen, but like the basic stuff he explains about the three kingdoms, that all happens in universe. He doesn't say peace, conflict, and complex political intrigue, though, because that's a little bit fourth wally. So yeah, that was the prequel. Maybe I should have started with this, but also Realm Traders Season 2, not happening. For those of you who didn't know, Realm Traders is going to have a Season 2, but the Oddsies, who is actually going to have, I give a spoiler warning, but it's not like this is going to happen anyway. Oddsies, who, if you've seen Realm Traders or Realm of Realms Season 2, Episode 2, you'll remember as being like a character who showed up at one point, was going to actually have like a lot bigger role in Realm Charger Season 2, and eventually in the Realm of Realms, he was going to be an important secondary villain. He was going to kill off Hope, and we had some crazy cool stuff planned with like Zyzel, and there was a special named Drunkerite sword, and then he left the series to quote unquote play Ark Survival Evolved full time. And I'm not trying to disparage his reputation, but I don't have a lot of sympathy because he left with no notice to No Life, a video game. So I don't know at this point. Oddsies, if you're watching this, fix your priorities, man. You can't just leave someone hanging like this. We spent months writing your lore, and you just left to play Ark. But yeah, that's irrelevant. The main point of season 2 was going to be his turn to villainy, so that we could introduce him back into the Realm of Realms with a bang. But now there's no reason to have Realm Charger season 2 because he's not going to have a turn to villainy. So essentially, what's going to happen is it's going to be no season 2. The Nair and 3M are going to show back up. There's going to be a joke about how, wow, all that cool stuff happened, and they're gonna like reference stuff that was in the script for season 2. So mind you, everything they're gonna say in this bit is canon and may or may not come back later in some way. So pay good attention. But we're not actually gonna see that, which hopefully will be funny. And Oddsies will have died off screen in some horribly embarrassing way. So yeah. In conclusion, Realm Charger Season 2, not happening. Prequel, not happening, but I just explained the plot anyways, so you don't really need it anymore. And Q&A, not happening, but throw your questions in the comments below, and I will do my best. All right, I think that is it, everybody. I'm so glad to be back from Iceland. I have a lot of fun ideas for videos and books and minis to paint and everything. School starts in a week, so I don't know how my upload schedule is going to be then. Probably more reliable than the past 2 weeks since I've not been here and not had access to a computer. But I'll keep you posted. Goodbye, beautiful people.